Hello again, Struck Club. The launch of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is approaching faster than we can handle, although still not fast enough. And bit by bit, I'm trying to bring some content that would be useful to know before the game launches. This specific video will be dedicated to the melee combat and spellcasting. Keep in mind, I didn't have access to the game, so I can't show you my own footage, and all the footage you're seeing is taken from official developer streams and trailers. So let's talk about spellcasting and melee in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Buckle up and let's go. I think it's good to start with spellcasting, it being something that is different compared to Borderlands as a franchise, where you just had your skills, but here you have spells, which also, yeah, I guess they're in a way skills, but spells, you have spell books, and it's like a type of an item, so it's like I haven't played the game to confirm for sure, but I've seen people in official dev streams getting drops of spell books and those providing different spells, so this is what I'm assuming is. When bullets just aren't enough to fell your foes, it's time to light them up with a dash of magic. Spells are a spectacularly sparkly way to damage your enemies and have relatively short cooldowns separate from your Fate Maker's chosen action skills. So you still have action skills, and based on your class and subclass choices, you have those action skills set, and some of those you can change and so on, depending on which one you invest and choose. But any class can equip any spell that drops as a piece of wood, and you should feel free to swap between spells often to find out which ones work best with your loadout/build. Spells have wildly varying properties. Even when they're the same basic type, such as a fireball, magic missile, summon hydra, or a gigantic meteor conjured from thin air to rain celestial destruction on your foes. You might find a spell that has multiple charges, allows for continuous casting, which by the way is perfect for poisonous beams of death, or resets its cooldown on a critical hit, and that's just the start. Most spells involve some sort of elemental damage, while others are meant to provide more utility by protecting allies or debuffing enemies, for example. So I'm very excited to figure out what types of spells the team behind Tiny Tina's Wonderlands has cooked up for us. My excitement and hype is growing just considering the level of customization to one's build, being able to equip every single spell, not limiting the spells to a certain class or subclass. Just knowing that freedom is there gets my brain thinking wildly about possible builds. Now, moving on to melee weaponry. Melee combat. Every class has one slot for a melee weapon of their choice. Sometimes enemies will rush straight at you before your guns and spells can get the job done. Or perhaps you just feel the need to get directly in your enemy's grill for some good old-fashioned stabbing, or slicing, or bashing, or walloping, or you get the idea. You always have room for a dedicated melee weapon in your inventory, and though you likely won't be swinging your close quarters armaments around as your primary source of damage, melee attacks can be extremely useful in a pinch. Whenever you whack most targets with a melee attack, they'll stagger backwards, giving you a chance to get your bearings, load up that next clip, and get back into the action. If you try to melee an enemy that's just outside striking distance, you perform a heroic leap glide to them, ensuring that your swing connects rather than whiffs. And if you ever want to just let loose for a few swings, you can tap the melee button repeatedly for a continuous sequence of slashes. Or one can even call that a melee combo. Melee damage is meant to complement your firearms and spells, not replace them. As you collect more powerful melee gear, you'll find weapons that provide various benefits after you connect with a melee attack, such as reduced cooldowns or refunded ammo for your gun. If you find the right melee weapons and effects that synergize with your greatest strengths, strategic melee attacks can be the key to maximizing your build's full potential. And this makes it sound like there won't be any melee-centric melee-only build. I think that's not gonna be the case though. I think there will be a melee-centric build. Borderlands has always had such, and I would be surprised if there isn't. Sure, melee damage might not be meant to replace your firearms and spells, but just complement them. But I'm sure there will be a build where it will be the exact opposite, where melee damage will be replacing your firearms and spells, and the firearms and spells will be complementing the melee damage, it being the main ingredient of the meal that build is. So I'm excited. I want to try a spin to win melee-centric build with different subclasses, so to see which one I like the best. It's probably not going to be my first playthrough though, but I'm excited about melee combat, as I always am in games from Gearbox, such as the Borderlands franchise. If you want to get notified when I upload more content for this game and other Wooter and not so Wooter games, you can subscribe to my channel and hit that bell button to not miss out on upload notifications. Also keep in mind there's something called memberships on my channel, which pretty much lets you pay a monthly fee which recurs, and you can cancel it anytime if you no longer want it, and that grants you access to exclusive perks such as emotes and badges made by me, as well as the option to ask me on Discord for one-on-one tutorials for the very basics of Adobe Premiere, Photoshop and After Effects. Thanks for watching all the way until the end, Struck Club. Remember to keep it cool, and until next time, goodbye.